Good morning and welcome to Frontiers of Knowledge segment of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. We have been hearing that the first land mass from which this word evolved was in Africa, then Eurasia, combination of Europe. The reality is that now we have found evidence and people belonging to Bihar would be amazed. The scientists have found sandstones in Singhbhum area of Bihar, and they are geological signatures of the ancient river channels, tidal plains and bent beaches. And they are over 3.2 billion years old. They represent the earliest crust of the earth. So, the statement that we have been hearing and believing that the world started somewhere else seems to be wrong. The new study has challenged a widely accepted view that the continents rose from the ocean 2.5 billion years ago. Reality is, it happened 3.2 billion years ago, not 2.5. In other words, the gap of 700 million years. So we are older by, the whole world is older by 700 million years. And that is the earliest continental landmass, and it has come from that place which is in Jharkhand. Earlier it was a part of Bihar, now it's a Jharkhand province. And the study has been done jointly by scientists from India, Australia and USA. And it's not very old. 4 days back the study came. The scientists found sandstones in Singhbhum, which show that the age is 3.2 billion years old. So the answer to the question is very simple. And that is, when the first landmass was made, they were formed in the way of sedimentary rocks of the region. And a particular type of sedimentary rocks called sandstone was found. Carbon dating was done, and amazingly, these sandstones contain a lot of uranium and lead, and they are 3.2 billion years old. Another thing, they did not rise from the ocean. They were formed in ancient rivers, beaches and shallow seas, not from the ocean. So the whole base of the origin of the earth stands changed. But I'm sure the school teachers still would be teaching the old thing that the earth came out of the river. So all those water bodies, rivers, beaches and shallow seas, not oceans, could have existed only if there was a continental land already. You can't have a river in an ocean. So the land came first, and then came rivers, beaches, shallow seas, and then these rocks. So Singhbhum was the area above the ocean 3.2 billion years ago. Mind you, it was not in the ocean. So patches of the earliest continental land, however, have been found in the places, of course, Australia and South Africa. The researchers studied the granites that form the continental crust. And the granite, amazingly, are not 3.2 billion, but they are 3.5 billion years old. And they formed to the extensive volcanization that happened 45 kilometers inside the earth. So there was a volcanic disruption inside the earth, and then that came up. That's 3.5 billion years back. And it continued, the process continued for hundreds of millions till the magma solidified and formed the crust of the earth. and due to thickness and the less density, the continental crust emerged above surrounding ocean crust. So the earliest emergence of the continents would have been contributed to photosynthetic process of organisms which increased oxygen level atmosphere. You see, what happens is, as the lead scientist said, once you create land, then you also create shallow seas like lagoons. So this is something path-breaking knowledge as far as the origin of the mankind, the origin of the earth, planet is concerned, because from there evolved all of the knowledge. So this was a real widening of the horizon. And when I read this report, I realized that can there ever be a specific response to the question, when was the earth created? There cannot be, because if the earlier theories have been knocked out by the later research, even this concept maybe would be knocked out by some further investigation, further research, a new light would be shown. Now come to that. Do you know that going to dentist is a pain in the neck? Of course it's a pain in the jaw, but it's a pain in the neck as well. And now Indiana University and University of Pennsylvania have combined, and the research shows that there's a link between iron deficiency anemia and severe tooth decay. And connection is correlative, and both conditions are associated with poor diets and are common to people who don't have good intake, nourishing food. So what to do? The FDA-approved therapy for iron deficiency holds promise now for treating, preventing, and even diagnosing dental decay. The therapeutic treatment is a combination of iron oxide nanoparticles, and those nanoparticles with hydrogen oxide, when applied to the real tooth enamel, place a denture-like appliance and go on with the study. So this nano enzyme therapy, I'm sure is going to be a problem for the dentist to earn by filling the cavities, pulling the teeth out, implanting the teeth, because when the plaque buildup, which is harmful to the teeth, is destroyed, and it's just a normal process of applying those nanoparticles with the hydrogen peroxide. So anybody can do it, provided you can get them. They are still experimentally they have tried in mice, they have tried in rabbits and on the herbivores, and they have also tried on the dogs, carnivore. So, and it has been found that it is successful in both vegetarian and non-vegetarian animals. So, apparently it will be successful. The scientists say the approach is precise, effective. This is a statement by Dr. Koo, professor of Pennsylvania School of Dental Medicine. And he says this system of applying nanoenzyme with hydrogen peroxide, it will disrupt biofilm, which causes the cavities, which causes the removal and the creation of the plaque, and it would reduce the enamel decay. As a matter of fact, this is the first study that we know of in a clinical setting which proves that nanoenzymes can be extremely useful. In fact, this is a work of is an extension it's not a complete work by itself, it's an extension of the work done earlier in 2018. But then this is now documented. The point is FDA has approved it. But FDA approval doesn't mean commercialization. Maybe it will take another 4 to 5 years for the commercialization, and then you can do it at home. Get the bioenzyme, get hydrogen peroxide, mix them in the proper quantities mentioned, and there you are. And then, you need generators for energy. And can you believe that the ocean waves have been plugged to create nano generators? And how do they do it? They use the ocean wave with flexible seaweed. Now, we all know that the tidal energy is great. Ocean waves are powerful, containing enough energy to push around, and we have seen the stones, pebbles, boulders being carried by the waves. So the researchers have reported that ACS Nano, that is Turboelectric Nano Generator, is a new generator, and it is extremely useful in coastal areas. What happens is that they have a network of sensors. They collect information on the water currents, tides, and clarity, and they monitor water quality. And this is sort of a marine internet. Then the waves come, and a special seaweed like substance, which is flexible, is exposed to those waves, resulting therein, they are being converted into a generator. So the seaweed is converted into a generator, and they say that the same seaweed can also be used to generate electricity from wind and solar. So you expose that to wind with some further application. Now, this basically harnesses the forces of nature, tides, wind, solar, which are already being used, but this is a much cheaper, much more effective way, and it can be done at the house level. Each home on the beach can have its own generator. Each home in a desert can have its own generator. The only problem is going to be that it has to be connected with those forces. As a matter of fact, from where the inspiration came, it came from the plants living on the sea floor. They already are generating energy. Are you aware, by the way, that the plants at the seabed create energy, and that energy at times creates light in the ocean? And that enables the marine animals, aquatic animals, to move around and to see. So the researchers have copied that strands of seaweed vibrate, and that vibration creates energy, and so they are conducting now the experiments, and the device has generated a current of 100 kPa under pressure. And they have found that a wave tank can be there. Waves can be created by energy outside, and they can become a nano generator itself. So basically, it is self-creating once the process starts. So you use the external energy to create waves, and those waves hit the seaweed, and they create the further energy. And they say that one small tank can create energy for 30 LEDs. 30 LEDs of 25 watts each. Amazing. And are you aware, we always say that the brain tells the body to do. But now Dr. Lisa Friedman Barrett has said, no, it's wrong. Body knows what to do before even brain does. I was shocked when I read it. Because it's creating a new perception of reality. The body, according to Dr. Barrett, correlates the condition that we are trying to transform. And when the brain predicts what's going to happen next, the next step, actually it pulls data from the body's experience and then gives it a form, gives it color, gives it a shape. And then that is carried back to the body. But the origin starts with the body. And it helps people create a body map. As a matter of fact, they say that's why mindfulness is important. Because mindfulness enables create a body map. And that body map is studied by the brain. And then brain, as I said, formulates the action plan. So this is a correlation. Raw data being created by the body experience, raw data being analyzed and a firm action plan being created by the brain, and then the body again enacting the data. And then one thing more before we part. We have a new concept of learning called intentional learning. You learn by intention. It's the most important skill. The fourth industrial revolution says that next year 133 million new jobs will be created. But these new jobs would have nothing to do with what people have learned in the universities and colleges. So you will have to unlearn what they have learned and learn new. And this is what they call intentional learning. It's a practice of treating every experience as an opportunity to learn anything, rather than being something that has occurred separately. That desire to learn should always be on. Instinctive approach to everyday situation. So intentional learning is going to be the most important part of the process of education to how to acquire it. This needs two mindsets. First is the growth mindset and the curious mindset. You should be curious to know. And you should have an orientation. So these are basically personality traits. But now they are being transformed from personality to knowledge, because you have to acquire knowledge, so you require a conception of why. And then why, which is a curious mindset, to how, the growth mindset. So people with a growth mindset would believe their capabilities and also that the intelligence can be generated further. When this happens, then the why, having been translated into growth, would enable you to grow. So this is a base for the global reskilling revolution. And that is going to be the most important part. Problem is that our schools and colleges already do not emphasize on creation of curiosity mindset. Our mindset, somehow or the other, we have, not fully. But curiosity has always been degraded in most of the world. Even the proverbs, stupid proverbs, curiosity killed the cat. As I told you, that sometimes I wonder about our ancestors, how did they create these proverbs that have no relevance to the reality? But that is there, and hence the new education and the growth has to be based on curiosity mindset and growth mindset. And let that enables you to chart the path for yourself and for your children. So with these little nuggets, We take leave and meet you next week, same time. Thank you.